Eko Tag is a story of hope. It's a story of creatives coming out of the shadows to say, we know who it is that we are. The things that we think about, the things that we dream, the things that we see in our heads and our hearts begin to form the fabric of what it is that people begin to know as culture.
Eko is the indigenous name, the indigenous Yoruba name for Lagos. And then tag is a word that is usually used in, graffiti street art. And so we named this project Eko Tag because we wanted to have a mix of heritage, but also have an urban arts twist to it. So it's called Eko Tag, heritage and modernism.
Working on the Eko Tag mural, the first one, which I did all by myself, that was like the largest mural I've ever executed at then. It was over 100 feet long. That was the first time anybody on the side of town has painted a public wall on the busier road in Lagos. And there were a lot of people who turned out, who came through to support. It was exciting to see that people were embracing this. 2 years ago, we executed the second one. The same thing, the same turnout. So we've set the precedence for artists to be able to create art in public space and even get the community to understand what we're trying to do.
This was the second installment that Osa 7 was going to be working on. It only just sort of made sense to come up with an idea that felt like a continuation of the story that already was told. Look, we've done this before and we will do it again passionately. We will do it again strong. What is it that we can create that people will look at and feel like they've seen something that gives them hope? Something that had so many hidden symbolisms within it. Every single time they looked at it, they would see something new again and again.
What inspired me to get into the public art space? I was a kid who loved art. I was a big hip-hop fan, and graffiti, which I started with, is pretty much an element of hip-hop. I found myself spraying on walls, painting portraits of popular people, musicians, and things like that. And started it in studying art in school. After school, I worked with a couple of organizations, and while working, I saw a lapse, and nobody was really championing the street art public space. And, I decided to give it a try and see how far it will go.
Public art is something I would consider fairly new in this part of the world at the moment. And so one of the things that has been important to us on this journey is being able to educate the different stakeholders, including government, about the importance of public art, the importance of putting not just art that is aesthetically pleasing, but also art that is functional in so many ways. There are people who still don't understand what we're trying to do, but there have been people who understand it and have been willing to support it in different ways.
Inscribe Art is a public art company driving innovations, experiences, campaigns, and community through urban art. One of the things we want to do is create a platform for this younger generation of artists who do not have the platform or the privilege to express or showcase their art.
One of the things that Inscribe has done and we've seen is every time public art shows up within a space, it has a way that it speaks to the people who are in the immediate community, and also has another level of things that it speaks to the people who come into the community for the first time. So when you look at the art piece, you would see how it is that we told the story of the different times that we believe that Nigeria has gone through. For me, one of the most beautiful parts of that is the woman in the center with a crown that is made up of the National Arts Theatre. That in itself is symbolic. And this is us saying that, we are now wearing that crown on our head, that iconic symbol of arts and culture. We're proud of who we are. We're proud of our expression. Within it, you would see little text written around. There's the extraction from the former anthem that says, "Great lofty height attained." We're looking to push the boundary. There's the text there that speaks about how the people who are passionate, the people who dream are the ones who will take this place, this country forward. And that's what that art is. It's a reminder to young creative people to say, when you look at this, remember that we are the ones who will push the boundaries, but we're the ones who will drive the story and take this to the next level.
I always say this, that storytelling is such a powerful tool to influence perception, to influence identity, to influence culture. And so when you tell stories, people tend to see themselves in those stories. And when people can see themselves in a particular story that you are creating, that's where transformation occurs. Because if I can see myself in your story, you can likely influence me. And so something that was really important for us was we didn't want this to just be about the piece. We wanted this to be about the different stories that surround that piece, right? And we wanted this to be about community. We wanted to be the storytellers who are telling the story of the community that exists within Lagos. This for us was one big story, and I believe that it's one big story that is the beginning of many other stories. I feel like Eko Tag is the gift that is going to continue to give. When it comes to public art projects, when you create art, you sometimes are creating art from a place where the primary focus for you is being able to externally showcase what it is that is going on in your internal orbits, your mind, your heart, your experiences and things like that. But I believe that art doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop at what is important to you. When you put that art out into the world, and people start to interact with that art and start to see themselves in that story and start to even create their own stories and their own narratives about what it is that you've put out, I think that's where the power is. So for Eko Tag, one of the things that has really brought joy to me is seeing how people leverage and use the arts, from fashion publications to music videos, to people just going and doing, photo shoots against the backdrop. I feel like Eko Tag has become a monumental piece. It's a backdrop that people now use for different things. And I think that's the power of art and creation, is you put it out into the world and then you allow other people to figure out the different purposes that art serves in community, in society, in the world.
The major challenge in executing public art in Nigeria currently would be sourcing for permission, getting permissions from the authorities who are the custodians of these spaces.
And we've just had some really good people within the government who understand what we're trying to do and who go above and beyond to make sure that, they support in the different ways through the agencies.
Collaborating with Osa and Adora was normal. This is years of work. This is 1 out of 1,000 probably. There is a synergy that we have. The beauty about it is, no matter how many times we've done it, every time it always feels like we're trying to outdo ourselves. When it came to the art itself, we wanted something that didn't feel like you would look at it and see a single person in it. So when you look at it, you would see a fusion of our styles.
Osa 7 and Fisher are two phenomenal artists that I like to think about them as thinkers first. And I think that the art that they create is basically them taking that thinking and actually putting it in visual form so that people can see it and understand it. Osa 7 and Fisher are also two artists whose work ethic I think is unmatched. They're not just artists, they're not just creatives, but they're also people who have a really analytical mind and they understand discipline, they understand self-motivation, even on the days where they're not necessarily motivated as creatives. They understand work ethic, they understand delivery. I love working with those two guys, I really do.
Hi guys, my name is Olawale. I'm an art director. I'm an artist as well, but a lot of people call me Lex, right? So I'm here at the wall that Osa 7 is doing here, and this is very, very great. An awesome piece, right? I like the fact that this initiative is something that he's doing, and this is something that it's not the first time he's doing this, especially in this exact space. So this is a lovely place. This is something that is inspiring. I mean, I was here the last time, And it was very great that every time I drive past, I'm always like feeling among, I feel like part of it, even though I did not touch paint in this work, but I felt very much like one of the piece. So this is a very lovely piece, and this is something that is inspiring. I think it's also a push to every artist to do something, do what you love, man. Yeah, that's about it.
Managing a project like Eko Tag requires that you keep your eyes on all the different aspects of it. For this particular project, we're working on what would be a major road. So one of the things that was really important to us is we didn't want to be creating and then disrupting people's flow. So one of the things that was very important for us was to organize the project in a way that took into consideration the high traffic times on that road, and then also making sure that, we had people on ground who were available to manage that flow should we need it at any point in time.
When people see Eko Tag for the first time, I want them to feel like they're seeing something that jumped straight out of the screen. And so we infused AR into the artwork. So when you scan, the artwork then comes to life. You get to have this extra layer of experience seeing a lot of the pieces of the artwork come to life and begin to be dynamic and move. Beside the artwork, there's a QR code. Once you scan, it then activates the artwork.
Public art in Nigeria is largely underfunded. When we executed the first Eko Tag project, it was government funded. The second one, that didn't pan out as we had anticipated. Eko Tag for us was a monument. It was a heritage piece. We wanted to be able to create what it is that we had in mind as far as the art, and we didn't want that to be disrupted or distorted in any way. Inscribe Art decided that we were going to collectively fund this project. So Eko Tag 2 was a fully self-funded project.